Okay. We're good to go. We are good to go. And honestly, I appreciate you coming on because literally, we honestly met 2 days ago. On Sunday.
Yeah, we met on Sunday. We had Sunday brunch with my friends. Believe it or not, we were supposed to go get burritos early in the morning, but we were so slumped because we went out to the bars, and then we went to Finney's, but we were supposed to go to sushi, but my friend is allergic to fish, so we're like, okay, we shouldn't go to sushi with people that are allergic to fish. So
I like it when random stuff like that happens.
It does. It's a weird coink.
And it's just I don't know. It's just meeting someone just kind of random out in public through a mutual friend. Then it's oh, okay, you do a podcast. I remember you were what's it about? And you guys kind of talk about problems or some shit. And honestly, you put me on the spot for a second. I was just kind of what do I do? What do we talk about on here? I'm trying to think and coming up with a definite answer to give you something, because I might be tripping, but did you say what do we talk about on here?
Yes.
Okay. Just random people or people that I know. Honestly, you are a random person coming on, or there's other people that I know of and I know they do some crazy dope shit, but general kind of vibe is anybody that I guess is just kind of willing to come on that I kind of know, or good vibes from meeting them right away, coming on here and just kind of saying some stuff off their chest, some unfiltered story type shit. And the thing is, you were yo, I have some shit I kind of want to talk about, because you were asking about if we talk about problems and whatnot, and specifically right away you brought some stuff up, so
I did talk about that.
What were you saying?
So I was talking about the foster care system in San Luis Obispo, how 40% of foster youth in San Luis Obispo only graduate high school. And
say that one more time.
40% of foster youth graduate high school, and 89% of just normal youth graduate high school. And so I'm just thinking the stability of San Luis Obispo's foster care system has been rocking for a couple of years now. And I've been in foster care since age 3, so I've been all over through counties, but including with SLO, when I was in high school, there was a lot of negative connotation. Oh, if you're in foster care, you're a troublemaker. But it's necessarily not the fault. It's not the youth's fault. It's usually the parents or the environment. And a lot of people judge really quickly for if you're in foster care or if you're in probation. And I feel these youth are just different than others, and I feel we should all be equal. And in the system here, it's just once you're 18, we have so many resources, but they don't knowledge you about that. And there's a lot of actually homeless people that are in SLO that used to be in foster care because they didn't get educated, that they have free college tuition, a SILP that's $1,000 a month once you turn 18, programs for housing for foster youth that necessarily don't have that financial support. And I just feel more foster youth should know that. And it's really weird to me that the people that are giving out the money don't necessarily be hey, are you a foster youth? Let me help you with all these solutions for you. They don't really go that, because the more that people don't use, the more money that they make. And I think it's really fascinating how it's just a really corrupt system that I see that's growing every day. And so when I was in CYC, do you know what CYC is?
No.
It's California Youth Connections for foster youth. So we would go to Sacramento, where the state capitol is. Have you ever been to the Capitol? No, it's actually
Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento, the capital, like the big building.
No,
it's really pretty, and like the inside, there's like this big, huge like painting. But I would talk to legislators about like what bill we would want to get passed, and it was like stability for like education, and I feel like the education here in San Luis Obispo for foster youth is so poorly because we get moved from home to group home. So we never really have the same education as other youth might have. And I feel like that's why the percentage is so low right now. And yeah, I'm just mumbling all these words. But
No. The thing is, you just said a string of information. And I now have them, like, I literally have, like, 5 to 10 questions for everything you just said.
Okay, I will stop with my string and give you some questions.
Keep going.
Keep going?
Like, keep
Okay.
Going. Yeah. Just keep going. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So the first bill I got passed was to do the stability, so 7-day notice to get rid of that, and to do a 30-day notice, and that is pretty much giving the foster youth being able to pack all their belongings, being able to say goodbye to their like friends, their teachers. And it used to be where they would only have technically 3 days to get out, and we would literally get out of the foster home, because a 7-day notice is pretty much the foster parents don't want or need or want a new foster youth or child, so they just go back and forth to homes. And so we wanted to do is to make it more like official, where you can't just pass on a youth just because you don't like their attitude, just because you don't like their religion, just because you don't like their color, just because they have special not special, but like allergies or anything like that. And so what I did was I went into Sacramento and I told them about my stories with 7-day notices, where when I was a kid, I wouldn't be able to be in the same foster home with my siblings, or I would be in a foster home for a couple days and they would be like, okay, grab the stuff that you can and we're leaving. And they would always give me a trash bag. And I'm like, okay, I'm a human, like I deserve like a bag or something to put my belongings in. And so what we did in Sacramento is a 30-day notice, where they'd be able to have a suitcase to pack up their stuff, be able to stay at the same school, because education is really important and they should have that stability to just stay in the community that they already know and not just keep moving to place, because how will they ever feel like they're at like their home? Like how can they not decorate their place because they're scared that the next day they're going to leave? And so what we did was we got the bill passed where the 7-day notice is gone and it's 30 days. And those 30 days are going to be like, why do you want this youth to leave? Like, give me the real reasons why you want this youth to leave. And they would either patch it up and have the youth stay, or if the youth does want to leave, they would move. But we pretty much made it more of a stability for them, so they don't feel like they're constantly not being able to connect with people, constantly feeling like they're a bag. And it's just, the foster care system has grown from the years on. Like when you're 18, you get money from the government. When you're 21, that stops. And then you get into housing and college and all that stuff. But some foster youth don't even know that. And I feel like it's really important that all foster youth that have been through the system know that they are wanted and that they deserve what everyone deserves, if that makes sense.
So
I was scrambling around because I'm trying to like make sense of it, but I don't want to go in detail until you ask me like certain questions.
Got it. Yeah, no, I appreciate you. So were you living in Sacramento at some point? Like, how are you able to just storm into the Capitol building and say, I want this, this, and this?
So
proposing these ideas. Like, who are you?
So that's a good question. So I actually lived in SLO when I went to Sacramento. So we would drive up to Sacramento, and that's a 6-hour drive. And I actually have a funny story to say to you, because I went to Sacramento and I talked to this legislator, but he was on his phone, literally just on his phone. And I said, excuse me, I didn't drive over here for 6 hours just to see you on your phone. So you can either hear my bill, or I can go downstairs and ask another legislator to listen to my bill. And he literally put the phone down. He's like, okay, what do you have? And he was the first person that signed my bill to make it pass.
Do you think he was on his phone because he was handling like a dire emergency situation, or do you think he was playing like fucking like Angry Birds or something?
I think it was like
how
playing
long was he
Angry
on the phone
Birds.
for?
He wasn't on the phone when we walked in. Let's just say that. He wasn't on the phone when he walked in, and he picked up his phone like he didn't care for the conversation. And
how close were you to him?
To him, I was I was like this distance, but from the other side of the table. Looking directly at him.
After he came in and sat down, after how long of sitting down did he pick up the phone?
Like right away. And there's and it didn't look like there was something important.
And you were like, dude, I'm here to do business.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I even told him, I was like, if this is an emergency, I can wait, but I would prefer to have that respect to talk to you. And he was like, oh, I respect that. And he actually when we did all the recouping of it, he talked about it. He was like, yeah, this young lady just told me that I should put my phone down and listen to her. And I just thought that was so interesting. And the member that I was with, she's like, Pilar, that was so rude. You just can't say that to legislators. I'm like, he's a person. If I was talking to you and you were on your phone and this is important stuff, would you be on your phone? She's like, no. And I was like, that's the same respect I would like. Just because he is in a higher power doesn't mean I'm going to treat him any different like I treat other people. And she was just like, oh, but we almost lost it. I was like, well, we didn't, because he passed the bill. So
okay, I fuck with your energy and
yeah, but I definitely have fought for a lot of voices, because some voices feel like they can't really be heard, but I tell them there's other ways to spread your voice. There's other ways to share your commitment. You don't have to be a public speaker. You don't have to stand up in front of a lot of people. You can put posters up. You can do videos. Things that make you feel comfortable in your own skin to do, I feel is a really good way to show your voice.
And the bill you got him to sign was going from a 7-day eviction notice to a 30-day eviction notice.
But we're trying to turn that eviction notice into a repair notice, which a repair is to repair a confrontation between another person. So if the youth is having really trouble in the home with the foster parents or with other kids, how can we help them feel comfortable in that space more, so they don't have to keep going from house to house to house? Because I feel every person deserves stability, and every person should feel they can just chill at one spot and not have to go from place to place. But yeah, it is technically an eviction notice, but at the same time, we're hoping that it doesn't turn into that, so that it's not competitively going into different homes, if that makes sense.
And why are they being evicted?
Because,
and where do they go once they get evicted?
They go to another foster home. And foster parents have that right at any time to just say, hey, social worker, I want this foster youth to leave. And they can make up reasons, and they might not even be true. And that's why the system is corrupt, because there's certain foster parents that shouldn't be foster parents. There's certain people that shouldn't be parents. And I feel a lot of people want to become foster parents because they get paid. And I feel that's not a good reason to become a foster parent. I think you should do it out of the kindness of your heart, and to help people and to help kids know that they are wanted, not because they're just a paycheck, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Have you only passed this one bill, or
no? I've passed multiple.
Name another one.
We did the AB 212. The money, the $1,000. So CYC passed the bill of making sure that once a foster youth turns 18, that they get money for food, for living expenses, for car, for anything that they need to survive, to help them with that. So it's an allowance for foster youth.
Once they turn 18?
Once they turn 18. And then there's also things called transitioning housing, where you are in a housing program and they help you with independent living, they help you with budgeting, they help you with pretty much life goals that a parent is supposed to teach you. So it's pretty much people that have these experience with budgeting, with building credit, with savings account, with trying to get a car, all these stuff. There's this program that helps foster youth get educated in that if they don't know that stuff. So we did that. And then we also passed the bill of, I'm trying to remember what was exactly named. We passed the education goal where if they've been in school, that they can't just automatically move to different schools. So if that makes sense, we passed a bill of more stability education. And that means where, when I was, this is a good example, when I was a kid, I was 10 years old, and I went to a lot of, elementary schools. At a time, 1 week I would go to this elementary school, and the next week I would go to this elementary school, and they would be learning two different things. And so a lot of other foster youth said that was a struggle for them. So we decided to make it a thing where they should just be able to finish the whole school year. And if it's really hard for transportation, then move the next year, but at least they have that whole education that whole year and not have to miss out on what they're learning and how they are progressing, I guess, if that makes sense.
And then how are you able to even pass these bills?
So
who are you and why are you able to do this? Are you part of a team or something?
So I was part of CYC for a couple years.
Okay. That's what it's called. That's CYC. The reason you're
that's
able
the
to
reason
do this.
why I did this. We went to Sacramento as a group of people from different counties. So we are the Central Coast. We are the Central Coast. So different regions. So Chico, LA, San Diego, San Francisco, all these foster youth would come together, and we would go to Sacramento and we would tell our personal stories. We would show them the factual evidence of the stats of how many foster youth are graduating high school, how many foster youth are having depression or anxiety, how many foster youth don't even make it out of high school graduation wise or anything like that. So we want to make the system better. So we go to the legislators and say what we feel, what bill needs to get passed. Also, there's a bill that's happening right now, but I'm not involved at the moment, but they're trying to extend the payment to 25 because lately it's just been really hard financially for a lot of people, and they want to give that support to some foster youth as well. So it's a very big organization where we go to Sacramento. We also go to other places too. I had a summer conference in Simona.
There's Sonora, Simona.
There's so many S places. I'm I don't even know how to say it, but it was a really good fun trip to Sonoma. It was the summertime, so we had this big huge summer conference. We had pool parties, we went to water slides. It was a fun experience after pretty much explaining like our stories to these people in suits and a lot of decision making.
So that's why you're trying to become like a communications major, is because everything you're involved in right now has to do with communications. Mm-hmm. And then you being a foster child yourself, that's why you're fighting so hard in a part of this organization, because you know the struggles and the hardships, and like that's why you want all these like bills and shit to happen.
Because
you've lived this life.
I was in since age 3, and I've lived the life in foster care knowing how corrupt is it, and I want for other foster youth to not feel the way that I felt. And so I feel like how I can help that is to make change, and how I can help that is to spread my story and to help others spread their stories and make it known that they are valuable, that they are wanted, and that they do deserve stability, and that they don't have to feel like every day that they are going to leave or they're not going to be able to build friendships because they're in the system. So, yeah.
What was it like for you being a foster child since age 3? What do you feel like right now?
I feel like it's better that I was in foster care than when I was living with my birth parents because they were pretty crazy. So I feel like I got a good set of hands, but there are some foster parents that I really wish that weren't foster parents because how they treated me or other foster youth because of their religion, their color, anything like that. Like there's a lot of discrimination. There's also a lot of discrimination with me with my seizures. The one foster mom was just like, your seizures are too much, so you're 18 now, so you can live your life by yourself. So she pretty much kicked me out once she knew that she wasn't going to get paid anymore, and that she said I was too independent and my seizures were too much, so I moved out and got my own place. But it's been a challenge, but it also showed me a lot of like good independent skills for myself. Like I don't rely that anyone else is gonna like help me. I kind of like help myself with anything I need, but I've met a lot of people that I became family with, and I don't think, for me, blood isn't just family. I feel like connection is family. Like I have a lot of friends. I still have these foster parents that I've known since 14 is still in my life because they've helped me in so many ways. So it's like, it's good that I still have those connections and I still have that support. And yeah, I think it was a good experience when I was a teenager, but it wasn't a good experience when I was a child because of how much I moved a lot. So if that answered your question.
How many foster homes did you live in?
I lived in 20.
20?
Mm-hmm.
So you're moving like once, twice, 3 times a year?
Mm-hmm.
You know for a fact the number is 20?
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping track?
I also asked my social worker, like, hey, how many foster homes is in my file?
Damn,
and that's including shelter homes and all that.
That's a lot of fucking moving.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I want to help the system, where I want to reduce that to 2. I want to reduce that to 3. I want to reduce that to even 1, because I think that moving around so much will just scare a person in the near future as being an adult. Like right now, I just moved and I'm like, should I even decorate? Because what about if I move the next minute? And I don't want to have that thought anymore. I don't want to feel like my home is not my home, if that makes sense.
Where were you born?
I was born in Oakland.
And how did you... I just met someone today from Oakland.
Oh, really?
Where did you... Like, how did you end up in SLO?
So, funny story. So, I grew up in Oakland for a little bit. Then my mom took us back. And then we moved to Texas for 4 years. And then we came back to California because this is kind of a scandal. My mom technically kidnapped us, didn't tell my dad that we lived in Texas, so we had 14 days to come back to California. Remind you, I am this 10-year-old that was in love with this Christian boy, and I was just like, I can't leave now. Like, my whole life's here. I had a whole best friend with singing Hannah Montana. I had a whole good life, but my mom was very abusive, and it wasn't a good living space. So when we
foster mom?
No, my mom.
Real
my
mom.
Birth mom.
Okay.
So when we moved back to California, I went into Oceana Elementary, and they all thought I had a Texan accent or a country accent. So I didn't talk for 6 months because I was scared that if I talked, they would make fun of how I sounded or anything like that, because they just assumed I was from Texas. I have a Texas accent, but I didn't. It was not an accent at all. But so then that's how I came to California. We moved back here and then went back into the system and went to a couple foster homes through the county, and then went back with my mom and my dad. And then alcoholism is a real thing. So my dad was an alcoholic, and he was very abusive. And my mom was really abusive as well. So the system was like, okay, we're going to take you back. So then I went back and went into a group home for a year. 6 months.
In SLO County?
Still in SLO County.
So you're kind of from here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
You've been here since 10-ish?
I've been here since like 10, 11, yeah.
And then you moved away?
I moved away a couple times.
Okay.
I lived in Sacramento, Stockton, all, like, just so many different places. And yeah, like, I have a lot of good friends in San Luis Obispo County. I think there's a lot of people that don't necessarily know that there is a lot of foster homes here. And so when people be like, oh, you're in foster care, like, where are you in foster care at? And I'm like, here in San Luis Obispo. And they're like, wow. And there is a lot of shortage of, like, parents that, like, want to help in the foster care system, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I went to SLO High for 3 years. Then I went to Atascadero High, graduated there.
From A-Town?
Yeah, A-Town.
Damn, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Graduated A-Town.
What year did you graduate?
2019.
Okay, so you're like 20? 19? 21?
I'm 21.
Okay, so you're a grade behind.
Yeah, because you see, the system put me there.
Because I graduated in 2016, and I'm like 23, almost 24.
Okay.
And then you're like, I graduated in 2019, so I'm like, okay, so she's 3 years younger-ish. But you're like, nah, motherfucker. Don't even trip.
Don't even trip. I'm definitely 21. I've been waiting for this age since birth.
Really?
Yeah, 21's probably the best, like, age.
Why?
Because you can go to bars, you can go to casinos, you can go buy a lighter and not worry about it, you can go buy marijuana and not worry about it. You have more freedom than an 18-year-old, I feel.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that's why I like 21, because there's more things to do than being, like, younger, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I definitely grew up in the area, but I definitely, like, moved around a lot to, like, witness, like, diversity and different, like, cultures and different, like, vibes. I lived in Santa Cruz for a little bit, and it was just, like, for 2 months, but it was, like, a really fun experience. From, like, SLO to Santa Cruz, like, the vibe is, like, completely different. It's more hippie, it's more colors. I love it. So, yeah.
So how did you meet, I might get the name wrong by one number, but how did you meet the 6th Spice Girl? Or is it the 5th? That's a really good question. If she's listening right now, she's probably going to be really, really insulted, because I always think of her as the number 1 Spice Girl. She always like, I'm the only Spice Girl. Are you serious?
Yeah, she talks about it all the time. And when she would do my makeup, she'd be like, you look like me too much. You look like a Spice Girl. Like, you need to not steal my brand plot. I was like, you're putting this on me, so don't like. But how I met her, funny story, is I met her through a friend that I went to high school with, and I went to her mom's house, and we did karaoke that night.
You went to her mom's house?
I went to her mom's house because my friend took me to her mom's house, and she was there, and we all were drinking and listening to karaoke, and me and her just automatically clicked, and we became closer and closer and closer, and now we're like best friends. And so
when did this happen?
This happened like a year ago. So we've been together like for a year. Yeah, it's been nice. She's been a treat. She's really funny. She's helped me get away from 2 toxic relationships in the like past like 2 years. Yeah.
Why? Oh, and then here, yeah.
Because the last guy I dated didn't like her because she was too thoughty for him. So thoughty, too revealing, too confident in her skin. Like, he was just scared of her.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like, if you go out to the bars with her, I don't know what you're gonna get into, pretty much. And he was just like, you choose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you even start dating him if that personality is already like a red flag?
Well, I didn't know that personality until the moment happened, because when we started dating, they were chill. They were they were homies. They were cool. But then when me and him got in an argument, she's like, like, no, like, you don't deserve to be treated that way. And he was just like, she's trying to step in our relationship, like, she doesn't have that right. And I was like, yeah, she doesn't, but at the same time, she's a friend that cares. Yeah. And he didn't like that. And he didn't like what outfit she picked for me, because he thought it was too revealing, or it just was a lot of like man insecurity in the most part. But it's really funny because she was like, wow, I got rid of 2 guys for you in the last like year we've been friends. And I was like, this is so funny to like have that. She's just, I don't know, because for me, friendship's more important than like a fresh relationship that I don't really know necessarily, because my friends are my family. Like, I treat them like family, and they are representing me, you know, like, whoever you hang out with is pretty much what your personality, what your vibe is, pretty much. Like, the people I hang out with are very chill, loves to smoke weed, loves to dance, love to have fun, just a very, like, cool vibe. And he didn't really click with my friends, and I wasn't gonna choose the guy that I just started dating over the people I've known and I've built friendships with. So he didn't like that. He wasn't number one in my eyes. So how to break hearts.
And then tonight she said, ask you about how you've been.
Goodness.
Something about bills.
Yeah, how many bills I've passed. I've passed over 4 bills.
Oh, I thought she was talking. Okay, I heard that. I thought she said ask about how, like, the bills you've had and how you've been paying for them. I was like,
so how am I paying my bills? Working, going to work, paying for, you know, rent, phone bills, internet, just all those fun things that we do as an adult.
Okay.
Diapers. Have you ever paid for diapers? They're pretty expensive.
How
Formula.
much are they?
Well, depending on how much you want, like for 12 or 20, it's like, no, for 12 or 15, it's like $8 to $10. And then for like a 100 or 50 pack, it's like 30 to 25.
And then how long do diapers last? Like, do you do 2 diapers a day, 1 diaper a day?
Well,
multiple?
I do multiple. And with my daughter right now, she's at the stage where taking off her diapers.
She's like, get this the fuck off of me and put me in like a pond somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Like yesterday night, I was just chilling with my friend. We're listening to some music, and she was dancing, and she decided to take off her diaper and pee right in the middle of the floor. And that was her first time ever doing that. I was like, oh goodness. And of course she started playing with her own pee. So I had to pick her up, put her in the bathtub, scrub her all off, go clean the floor that still has pee on it, and take the diaper and put in a new fresh diaper because apparently she didn't like that one.
Yeah.
So I go through a lot of diapers.
You're doing like some gnarly shit, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't imagine being a parent. And you said you're trying to go back to school?
I'm in school right now.
Oh, you're in school?
I'm in school, I work, and I'm a full-time mom. And I have a social life.
How do you take care of your baby when you're like at school or work?
So I do school at my house. So I do it like in home. And then if I'm at work, I have like her nana watch her, or some of my friends that I truly trust out, like her aunts.
Tristan?
So, Tristan, yeah. Okay. Right now she's at my house, probably playing with the baby. It's probably her bedtime too, knowing Tristan. I am scared
Tristan's bedtime or the baby's bedtime?
Maybe both. Maybe both. You know, Tristan, she definitely just needs her sleep, because the next day, if she doesn't sleep, she's like, probably. But, she told me that if my daughter is in high school and she wants to ditch, that she's going to be the one that picks her up and takes her to get some ice cream or take her to the beach. And I'm like, girl, really? You're gonna be that one? I want you to be the one that runs through the hallways screaming her name, or if she has her first crush, to not embarrass her, but like make the crush feel uncomfortable.
We talked about this the other night, but in this house, but like, does it hurt really bad giving birth? Like, really fucking bad?
So, so I got a C-section because I was in labor for 30 hours.
Fuck.
And they gave me...
You're just sitting there?
I can't pushing. Eat. I can't eat. I can't go... I can hardly sleep because it's just like I'm in so much pain. And they put a epidural in your back.
What's that do? Relaxes
you. It relaxes you. But then they gave me this medicine that said it was going to help my dilation. And I was only dilated 4. And that's like really, really small. You're supposed to get to 10. So I couldn't give like a natural birth. So they decided to cut me open. That's a C-section. And so taking the baby out wasn't painful, but stitching me back in, I literally felt like someone was tearing me apart. Like, it hurt so bad. And then they said that I couldn't eat anything or drink anything because I would throw up. I still threw up. And then the father threw up as well. And the doctor that literally took the baby out was like, y'all throwing up, so I got a dip. But she just took the baby out of me, and there's like worse, like more disgusting stuff than throw up. She walks out, she's like, okay, well, you're all good. He's gonna stitch you up and I'm gonna leave. And I'm like, what? And it was really painful. Oh my gosh, the recovery after is even worse because they give you like pain medication, but they tell you to not use as much as it because it's like, it's like if I take a whole pill medication, I'm going to feel so great. I'm going to feel like I can go move boxes and go do something. I can't do that. I have to be laying in bed for like a week or 2 weeks to properly heal. Like, I couldn't bend down. I couldn't reach up. I couldn't smoke because every single time I smoked, I would cough and it would hurt the stitches.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it was a really painful experience, but it was also the most beautiful experience I've ever, like, witnessed. Like, when that first moment I just held her, I was just like, I know what true love is. 'Cause, like, when I looked in her eyes, I was like, this is the most amazing feeling ever. And now she's, like, 1 and walking and talking, and I'm like, dang, like, that was a year ago. And it's, like, completely, like, time definitely goes by fast, so...
You're like, I have a new friend in my life, and I'm going to take care of it and not let her do the foster care system.
Yeah, like I did.
Are you in relationship with your, like, parents at all? Like, your biological parents?
No, I am not.
When was the last time you saw them? Because you said you were with them at 10. So 5 years ago, so you were like 16-ish? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they were both very emotionally and physically abusive. So I decided to cut them out of my life. I do this whole thing, if you're toxic, I don't want you around me because I deserve like positivity, happiness, peace, like just good vibes all the way. And then also, now that I have my own daughter, I don't want her to go through what I went through. So I want a safe circle. You know, that saying, it's... You raise a child with a village. I think I don't know the like complete saying, but I have a really good village on my side, and I'm really glad that like my daughter has these good people around her.
What is next for you? Like, in terms of, because it sounds like the foster system isn't like the changing up of the foster system, like, that doesn't sound like it's out of your life yet.
No,
you know, like, it sounds like you have
not.
more ideas and whatnot. Like, you said you were doing like some speaking shit in front of 400 people.
Yeah,
like, what was that thing?
I did that. So it was a fundraiser for so that one was for CYC that I was talking to 400 people, but there was another one that I did. It's local here, for CASA. and therefore like people that have been children that have been through abuse or in the foster care system. So I had a CASA, and that's a youth advocate, a person that helps foster youth with like school, life skills, anything like that. And I've known her since age 13, and we've still talked to this day. Like she texted me yesterday and was like, when are we gonna get lunch? And she's like a big part of me. So I told over 100 or 200 people like the story between me and her and how she impacted my life so well and so drastically that it made me feel wanted and made me feel like I had someone in my corner, and it made me feel seen and made me feel special because this person really cared about me and helped me with like learning how to drive before I didn't have seizures, or going out to eat and having a good conversation. And so I told them about like the story of how I went into foster care and how it was hard, and the abuse I've been through with my birth parents and with other people, and how she has helped me through the process. And I raised a lot of money. Have you ever had a $2,000 cake?
Like a birthday cake?
No,
Fuck
have you ever eaten a $2,000 cake?
No.
I've eaten 3 $2,000 cakes that night. They were auctioning cakes, and like there was some couple cakes for like $3,000, $2,000, and they were just cakes. And I was just like, what the heck? And all these people have this money for cakes. And then when I told them my my story, they kept donating more. And so I did it two years in a row of doing the speech. And then I also did not a commercial, but like I did a video presenting like CASA, and so it's up on their website as well. So yeah, that's like what I've been really involved in. And then I'm involved with a new foster organization, but I took a break a little bit because I've just been really busy with being a mom and school and work. So yeah, it's been nice. But for what I want to do in my future, that's a good question. I am still figuring it out. I think right now, I just want to see my baby girl grow up a little bit more. And when she's starting to go into daycare, I'm going to go back to the gym and get all fit. I'm just kidding. And go back to school. And I don't know what I want to be yet. I'm wanting to definitely work in the foster care system, but also do some other stuff. Like work with kids that have autism. I used to do that a lot too.
Plain devil's advocate, someone came on here recently and was talking about how, pretty much long story short, it was like a side conversation of a side conversation with them, but they were like yada 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 yada, like I'm like a hardworking like taxpayer or whatever, or like not me but like them when they were telling their shit, and they're like, honestly, like I fuck with them, I really do, but they were like, yeah, like fuck all the freebies of just like handing people money and stuff, because this person it sounded like they were pretty much like are just on like a nonstop grind working, but like when you were saying talking about the bill that gives people $1,000 once they turn 18 up to when they're 25, somebody that's kind of like against that when they're like, yeah, like fuck giving out free money, fuck freebies, like that just kind of makes like someone does end up paying for that. What do you think about that argument? And I'm not even picking a side. I don't even want to give my opinion. Because honestly, like, I don't even really know necessarily what my opinion would be, because I do like to help people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't even want to go down that route. But like, what is your opinion on what they said? Mm-hmm.
So I definitely hear what they're saying about freebies. I feel like a lot of people should work for their money, and a lot of people should, strive to do greatness for themselves. But also the factor is, foster youth don't really have two parents that can provide for them in college. And let's face it, a lot of youth right now that are in college are getting money from their parents. Some are, but some aren't. Some are just doing it all by themselves. So for the people that do have the parents, like, that is a really good... See, like, it's tricky because I hear their side of the story and their opinion, but I also hear the factor is that, like, foster youth don't have anything. Like, their education could be, like, not even, like, up to par. They might not even have an education, like they probably didn't even graduate high school. We don't know. But I feel like the reason why they give them this money is to show them that they can reach the goal to go get their own money, if that makes sense. Because I have a lot of friends that be like, oh yeah, my parents pay for schooling my parents pay for my living expenses if I go to school. But I know that I have some friends that don't have parents that have that kind of money that can help them go to school. So I'm very, like, I'm kind of Switzerland on this, like, topic, because it's really about the situation for people, because I can't say that all young adults have parents, because I don't know their story. I can't say that. But I can say for all foster youth, they don't have a lot of resources like a lot of other people do.
You're flowing.
I'm flowing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
so
big chillin', dude.
Pretty much, like, I feel that they're necessarily correct. Why am I paying the government money that I'm not getting back? Like, I totally understand that. But also the factor is there are just situations that we necessarily don't know that other foster youth have. And some foster youth don't even get this money. Like, you have to have a living house. You have to be in a house. You have to be in school or working. Like, this money isn't just free. Like, you can't just, oh, I'm 18, but I have no place to live, I get this money. No, you have to be in a stable living house. You have to be working. You have to be going to school. Like, you have to have all these goals and sets to even get a dice to that money. But it also cuts at age 21. So it's like then that they have that time to earn their own money. And then they'll be paying what they just got. So it's a system. It's a cycle.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
I feel like money flows in so many directions. Like EBT. Do you know what EBT is?
I've heard it in rap songs.
In rap songs?
It sounds like
they're talking about free food from the government. What?
Yeah. No, honestly, I almost want to, just because you said that, I almost want to show you one of the best freestyles I've ever heard because you said that statement. I'm not even joking.
Okay, I would love to listen to it.
Shout out Rayvon, but no, like. EBT, like, you pretty much said the answer. I was gonna say, 'cause in the freestyle, it's like it sounds like some sort of card that you're. It sounded like food stamps, right?
It is food stamps. Yeah, you're correct. You're correct on that. Yeah. So a lot of people are eligible to even get that. Like, if you don't work a lot, or you are a college student but don't make a lot of money and need food, that's what we also put our money towards in the government. Free food for people that can't necessarily provide for that, or people like me that has a daughter that needs like extra, like a lot of food for her or for me, for like just like keeping it together. But I feel like there's just like a lot of resources for a lot of people that could help them. Like, if they feeling like, okay, why are they getting so much money? But just because I was in the foster care system doesn't mean like I don't deserve it, pretty much. And there is a lot of resources for them. Like, there's cash, there's CalFresh, there's, I think that's the same thing as EBT. Cash Aid, I don't know. It's the same thing. It's like this, but like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, hopefully.
It's just one of those things where it's just like a huge road, a huge population, and just like so many problems. You know what I mean?
I have one. Why does a school that doesn't necessarily win games, like football games, track races, or anything like that, but they get all of it remodeled for free? But there's other places like Oakland, San Francisco, all this stuff, they have to be winning to get it all redone. But in our county, we just have the money to spend. And I feel like that kind of money should be better on roads that are like really scary, or, you know, sidewalks so people don't die, or like bicycle lanes so people can bike more. But we never really think about that when it's, you know.
Someone else came on and said like that, but they had such a specific example of something that was happening in Paso.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess there's this, there's some, I would honestly butcher it trying to recap it, but pretty much they said what you said. There's like some like bilingual school or some shit, like I guess like a really great school from what they said that's shutting down for like no apparent reason because they can't get funding, but yet they're like building a different school, like a brand new pool. So they could have like taken the $2 million and like done something. I don't know. I could have gotten the story flipped.
Like when I went to SLO High, they didn't have a pool, but now they have a pool. Now they have a pool, and now they have a really nice track and field and a football. Like they have a better football, like, grass area than a lot of schools that I've seen, and I'm just like, they're not even that good. So I'm just like, why do people put money in places that they don't necessarily need to put in, that are not technically like broken?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're spitting logical facts and points that hopefully most people would agree with you, right? Do you think most people agree with like everything that you just said?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
Do you think so?
I have conversations with my friends.
Or do you think there's a lot of people that are like fuck this person, like she's another complainer? Because I bet there's a ton of people there, dude. I bet there's millions of people that I almost feel like would like discredit everything you said.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, and they can discredit everything I said, but I've lived it. I've lived seeing the damage of it through the foster care system, or the wealth privilege of people using money in resources that, I mean, like in places that shouldn't really be used for. I feel like that money should be used for different places that, thank you, different places that need it more than they do. And there are probably going to be haters, no offense. There are going to be haters that be like, this girl has no idea what she's talking about. She needs to duct tape her mouth. And there's going to be also some people be like, you go, girl. Like, you're saying what you feel is right. You are logical. You have factual evidence to prove what you are saying. And I feel pretty confident in what I've been saying so far. So if people don't like it, that's on them. But if people like it, well, cheers to that.
Yeah, no, I feel like you're killing it in terms of like right now you're kind of painting a story. Like, yeah, I don't know. This would be, if you ever have like I don't know if you, like, you know how, like, getting, like, a GE, you have to take, like, 1 or 2, like, English classes? Like,
yeah.
That would be, like, a good paper, is, like, everything you just said. Like,
exactly.
That'd be a good paper that would get an A. 100%, yeah.
Thank you. See, that's the funny thing. I am really good at verbalizing my, like, factual evidence or my experiences, but when I get on the paper, I'm like, where to even start? So for me, it's just I like to record what I'm saying and then like listen to what I'm saying and then like write it down of like, okay, this is an important topic or this is important stuff. So thank you. That was a really nice compliment.
Do you care if we take a quick intermission, like piss break?
No, I don't.
Okay. And then like come back and go for like 10 more minutes if
that
that's
sounds
chill?
good. Yeah.
Okay, fuck go.
Second podcast I've ever done in my life.
You've done a podcast?
Yeah, I've done a podcast before.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, my friend said I should start one, but I'm like, how would I start it? Like, how does this even work?
You went on one or you did one by yourself?
I went on one with my friend.
Okay.
And we had a debate about our political beliefs and our beliefs on marijuana, our beliefs on drinking, our beliefs on like just random things.
Like, what was the podcast? Where is it located? Whose podcast?
It was my friend's podcast in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I forget the name of it, sadly to say. It was a very unique name. That's why it was hard for me to remember it. But she was really good. She was pretty impressive.
She was like a host on it?
Yeah, she was a host on it, and she was really good. I liked it. And you're really good too. So just like different experience from a girl's podcast to a guy's podcast. It's like, I like it. It's like, it's different. It's unique. And I think it's really cool to like be a part of it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
When did you start your podcast?
June 2020.
And
like, honestly, like the people like SLO County, shout out to like you guys. Like, this is a dope community, I just was like, dude, I need to document some of this, like some of this, because literally some of these people are fucking like next level, like just like on some dope shit, and I literally like, I don't know, I just think you guys are so dope, and I wanted to be like, yo,
you want to
like,
capture it.
These are some of my friends. These are literally some of my friends, and like, I don't know, like some people are always like, oh, like speaking in first person for them, they're like, oh, like some of my friend group is so lit, you know, like, you know how some people are like, yeah, dude, like you haven't met my friends yet, like they're so dope.
You haven't met my friends yet. Wait, but you know my friends, so
that's
like
how
you can't say
I
that
feel.
statement. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like you haven't met like I think my friends are dumb lit, like literally, like I don't know. I thought doing a podcast is like a good idea, and one of the only people I met in public in 9 months. I'm not even joking. And like, and honestly, I feel like that's saying a lot because I just met you in public randomly.
Yeah, you did.
I met one of the only people in 9 months that I met in public, and she was like, "Yo, like, be a dope representation for your age group." Or whatever, or for your generation, and then that really just stuck with me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start interviewing all these motherfuckers then.
That's awesome.
Tell me about you said you've been having seizures. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your seizures.
I've been having seizures since age 16.
What honestly, like, what is a seizure?
What is a seizure?
Yeah.
So there's so many different types of seizures. There's ones where I could be looking at you and not knowing, like, not talking to you, like, at all. Like, I'm literally just zoning out and not, like not conscious of what's happening around me. That's one seizure. There's one where your whole body convulses and you lose control of your body, and sometimes you could be conscious or not conscious. Sometimes you could stop breathing, depending on what kind of seizure form you have. There's grand mal seizures where you lose full body control, and yeah, it's pretty bad. So there's also ones where there's seizures caused by lights, like those flickering lights. Some people like those flickering lights are really like harmful for them. So it's like, you know, when you like watch a video game and it says beware like seizures, stuff like that, like those are some types for seizures. Like I have where I lose like whole body, like I lose control of my body, and then I wake up not knowing I just had a seizure. So I have to be told like, hey, you just had a seizure. So if that makes sense.
Is there a name for your seizure name?
So
your seizure type,
I have epileptic seizures, and then I have psychogenic seizures. And psychogenic seizures are based through like trauma, so like what I've lived through pretty much in my life, really stressed on my body, so it turns into a form of a seizure to like let go, like all that, like pretty much all that like negative, all that like trauma, like just starts like shaking out of my body, I guess, if that makes sense.
Is that a good thing that you're getting rid of it in a sense?
Not really necessarily in the medical standpoint. People shouldn't really have seizures because it can really damage your brain. But in the mental capacity, you know, letting all that stress go could help, you know, clear your system. But it's usually not good that I have seizures. My friends be like, how long have you haven't had a seizure for? And I'm like, a week, a month, maybe 2, like depending on like my like surroundings, what's happening, like heat. Like, if I'm in 100 degrees weather and I don't drink water, or if I'm not, like, eating or just not getting, like, cooler down, I can have a seizure. So it's just, like, certain settings I have to be prepared. I have to have a glass of cold beverage, or I have to have something to eat on the side just to make sure, like, my body is, like, okay and it's, like, doing its thing. If that makes sense.
So you really do have to be careful.
Yeah.
You can't go to, like...
I can't drive.
You can't drive?
Nope. I can't drive. And if I have a seizure, a couple days, if I want to go on a bike ride, I can't have a seizure the day before or the day of. Like,
how often do you have seizures?
So my last seizure was 3 days ago. So...
Fuck, dude.
Maybe once or twice a week, hopefully. Yeah, so it just really comes and goes. I really don't know when, like, I know the symptoms, like, of when I'm feeling like I'm going to have one, but I don't necessarily know that I have one, if that makes sense. Like, I have to be told, hey, you had a seizure.
You, like, forget everything?
Like, I just think I'm doing the same thing I was just doing, like, a couple minutes ago, and they're like, no, you had a seizure. Like, I woken up, like, on the floor, and I'm like, I wasn't sitting here. Like, what's happening?
So you'll just fall on the floor?
Sometimes I would fall, or I would collapse into having a seizure, or someone would put me down slowly on the floor because I'm having a seizure standing up.
And then there's zero control. Like, you can't do anything. Is there medicines that can help?
So I've been on a couple medicines, but the only medicine that works for me is marijuana.
Dude, good for you.
So I don't use all that chemical bullshit that people call medicine. I use a plant that is really good, and it helps a lot with my seizures. Some people think it's actually really bad that I need to stop smoking because apparently marijuana is bad, but I feel like marijuana saves lives. I feel like alcohol is way worse than marijuana because look at how many alcohol poisoning or alcoholism or drinking and driving, like, you know, crashing and stuff, you know, like when you're, I don't know if this is probably a word, but like when people are high, do you feel like you can't control yourself? Because I feel like when I'm high or when I'm like in the like meditation space that I want to be at, I feel like I can talk, I can go run a mile, I can do anything like I'm doing when I'm sober. But when you're drunk, can you run a mile? Can you have a full conversation and remember the next day what you're having? Like, these are the questions I ask people when they tell me I should not use marijuana as a medical source for my seizures because they say that it fries your brain or you have memory loss or you are lazy. And normally people are just lazy in general, even if you don't smoke. So I feel like marijuana does have some side effects, but it's how you can control it for your body. It's not the item that's the problem, it's the person that's using it, in my eyes, personally.
Damn. Yeah, man, yeah, that's the thing. Like, fuck, man. That, like, makes me sad hearing, like, I wish there was just no such thing as mental, I feel like disability is, like, a rough word to say. Mm-hmm. But, like, I wish I could just snap my fingers and just everybody's on, like, the same, like...
page.
Like, brain... Yeah, page. Like, I am bummed that people like yourself are, like, suffering with this thing that you have zero control over. And, like, there's literally, like... There's not a fix to it. Like, what the fuck do you do?
Actually... marijuana, the reason why I smoke a good amount. I smoke in the morning a little bit, I smoke during the day a little bit, and I smoke at night. But this, usually if I smoke every day, I don't have a seizure for like a couple weeks to a month. And so that's why it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But it mostly works and it makes me feel like healthier, if that makes sense. It makes me feel like I'm less scared that I'm gonna have a seizure if I just take a take some marijuana and put it in, like, smoke it and just relax and just make sure I'm good, because it really does help. And people, I feel like, just judge it from the past experience of what they studied, but like if you really look at marijuana and the studies, like it's 2022 now, like it's different now, it's like different resources, you know, and so, or different sources, I guess to say. But I'm still learning a lot about marijuana, so I don't know a lot, but I do know what helps me and what kind of strains and like how I use it. It's not I'm using it out of, oh, I just want to just do it. It's more out of, it's helping my body. And so that's why I'm using it. It's like, why do we, yeah.
It's your body. What I'm doing.
It's my body operates. And do what I want to.
Have you ever tried mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, honestly.
I think those help immensely with seizures. I feel like it gives a certain feeling to your body. It makes you feel so connected with yourself. Like when I've had them, like I've literally felt like collected in my thoughts. I feel grounded. I felt like chilling, like just having a good time. And it didn't, like I never had a seizure. And I literally just felt like, I don't know, just like big relief of calmness. So that's why like I like it.
What if there's this thing that you can do where you like are taking mushrooms and like microdosing it, or just taking like a dose of mushrooms, and there's like some sort of like guider or like I guess shaman person. Mm-hmm. That's what they call them, I think. Yeah. I don't know, I could fucked up the word, but like you're listening to some sort of guider that helps you on this trip. And because really your brain really is plastic. Like it's very moldable and malleable, and it's like, I want to say it's very easy to rewire it and like fix certain parts of it. So what if that is like some sort of treatment? Is just humans, we don't have that sort of understanding available to the public yet. You know, like
I feel like that would be a really big life-changing thing. My friend actually talked about how she went to a recruit, like what you were explaining, she went to, and they did that with her. They did that whole experience, and it changed her like a lot in immense ways. So I feel like if I ever got the opportunity to even like see if one's close to me or be able to go to one, I would definitely have that experience, because I feel like it would definitely hopefully rewire the seizures to not happen anymore. I don't know, but just I'm really optimistic, so I would be down to seeing something new and feeling something different and connecting with someone that knows that kind of energy that they're giving.
Dude, I just saw the funniest thing that happened. You literally lifted up this charger wire, and like the paper, like the wire literally folded up this piece of paper against the bong in like a way that hadn't been done to the paper before, and the paper literally like lunged out this way. You immediately picked it up and like started folding the paper. That was some funny shit. That was some really funny shit. And that kind of goes back into your whole viewpoint on just the system and the corruptness of it. Like the government doesn't want like us average people, civilians, to, I guess, like winning or getting the treatment that we literally need. Because why the fuck would marijuana be illegal? Why the fuck would psychedelic mushrooms be illegal? You know, That's my whole thing. That's literally my whole thing. I told somebody like a month ago, it feels like, I was like, yo, like, my whole thing is like, I really want to like legalize drugs, like especially psychedelic mushrooms, and just like have it be like a thing you can get at fucking the Rite Aid pharmacy, where you're not even prescribed it. You can just go buy it for like a really good like price. Because
look at the medicines they're giving us. Like there's a lot of side effects to it. Like seizure medications like really make you fry. Like
no offense.
Yeah. Like it makes you feel like I literally feel numb. Like I wouldn't be like this energetic if I was on seizure medication. Like it's terrible.
You're saying if you took it 24/7, it just kind of like slows you down, fries you?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
But yet, marijuana supposedly fries us, but I feel amazing and I don't feel the same effect. Like, that happens. So, yeah, no, I definitely feel like psychedelics should definitely be legalized because they're so useful in so many different ways, in a healthy way too, that people are trying to use medication today that could, like, shrooms could also, like, kill as well, I feel.
You said some good shit. You really have.
Well, I'm just saying the truth in my, like, I have no filter. I'm just saying, like, what I believe. But I might be, you know, like, people might be like, no, you're saying it all wrong. But I think it's right in my head. So just say it.
Honestly, since you're someone that I, like, literally, like, do not know or really even know anything about.
Yeah.
And, like, for, like, I guess, like, and don't take this in, like, a negative way, but, like, for, like, when your sort of people come on, like, when I literally, like, we just don't know each other like that. Like, so you're in that category of, like when you're
stranger.
Sort of,
yeah, stranger.
When, like, a stranger comes on, I always try and go, like, okay, like, to start us off, like, I'm just gonna try and, like, say a random thing that popped into my head today, or, like, a random thought. And, like, today I was totally, because it is fucking tax season, it's, like, about to be April, like, in a couple days.
Yeah.
I was totally gonna go on, like, a 5 to 10 minute tax rant at the very beginning of this. And then also I was gonna talk, I was in it, but, like, I'm not anymore because, like, there's better shit. Like, I'm saving this for a different time.
That's a good idea too.
And then did you see the and I feel so, like, I don't even like keeping up with, like, famous people like that, but, like, did you see the whole, like, Will Smith slap and shit?
Yes.
I was gonna say something about that in my fucking opinion, and I just wanted to rant for a second.
You should.
But I'm not even going to.
What?
Like, you brought this entire episode to such a deeper meaning that, like, my surface level of energy, like, it doesn't even fit this. So it's honestly, like, thank you. Like, I'm gonna be saving this for completely different time. Yeah, but, like, literally, I appreciate you coming on, and I do want to apologize because, like, a couple of minutes ago, I am an ignorant person for sure. Like, I'm not politically correct. I'm very unfiltered. Like, I don't even know, like, what I'm really saying or what I'm doing. I'm just like sometimes I feel like I'm a zombie. Like, I just need to come on here and, like, walk in and, like, start talking to somebody. Bro, literally.
To wake up. To wake up.
Let's say I'm awake.
You're awake.
But I'm just, like, I don't know. Maybe zombie is the wrong word. But I said mentally disabled, but, like, you're obviously you're literally like opposite, bro. You're literally, like, extremely outspoken and well spoken, and you're just on this mission, and you're saying incredibly dope shit. And seriously, I'm not even joking. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't mean that as an insult or any sort of negative connotation.
To be honest, I didn't even hear that. Okay. So, like,
I don't mean it like that.
I personally, when I, like, hear those things, I'm like, I understand what you're saying, so I'm moving on, pretty much. Like, I understood what you were saying, so I didn't take offense to that because I knew, like, what you were trying to verbalize, because I do the same thing. I'm like, wait, that's not what I was trying to say, but, like, sorry if it, like, offended, but it's fine, you know? We're unfiltered people, like,
I didn't mean it,
but, like,
that,
no, I didn't see it that way.
You're dope.
I definitely didn't see it
sounds
that
like you're
way
doing
either.
some dope shit in the
Thank you.
community. Like, for real, keep it up because you are clear-headed, and I'm sure you're gonna figure everything out, and everything's gonna work out well for you. Yeah. Anything you want to say to the camera? Anybody watching before we dip out? I want to
say cheers to you.
Hey, dude, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Tristan, for introducing me to Laser. It's pretty cool.
You're like, where am I? What's this?
What's this happening? Remember, I'm a stranger. Just kidding. But yeah, thanks for having me on the
Dude,
podcast.
for real, nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. Yeah.